everybody, good afternoon. I am on a couple of minutes early, but I have a 4-month-old and he is just getting into his nap right now, and he's been a little unpredictable the last little while, so I want to maximize my time without having to go and check on him and get him back settled down in the middle of our video. So we are doing a rotisserie chicken in the air fryer, and it's called a Peruvian chicken with a Peruvian green sauce, and it comes right in the cookbook that you receive when you purchase the air fryer. So it's one of many recipes that are in the cooking guide book that comes with the air fryer, and it is delicious. So just before I came on, what I did is I had purchased some cooking twine just from Sobeys when we first got our air fryer, because I knew we would be making quite a few rotisserie chickens. And sometimes the little twine that they have on there isn't tied on very well or not tight enough, and if you try to retie it, it doesn't exactly hold the chicken in as you need it in the rotisserie. So what I normally do is I take 2 pieces, I put one around the wings and one around the drumsticks, just so that it's tied nice and tightly. So you can see that there's 2 different ropes going around, plus I leave the one from the deli on the chicken. So the key to the rotisserie chicken in the air fryer is that you want to buy a chicken that is a little less than 4 pounds. So mine's really close to the 4-pound mark. So I'm just using my, there we go. I'm just using my kitchen scale here to double check the weight. So I do have the spit in here, so it's gonna be a little bit heavier. I'm gonna change it to pounds. So it's 3.95. And what's awesome is that you can set it so that, let's just do this. I'll set it back to 0. I'm going to put the styrofoam pan there, so that weighs 0.606 of a pound. Then I can add my chicken. So I know to take that off, I just push the tare button and it does that for me. So then I can see exactly how much that weighs. So I'm just gonna turn that off. It's awesome. It can weigh up to 11 pounds. And it changes units from grams to ounces to pounds. And like I said, you can put your bowl on it first so it gets that measurement, and then measure what you need on top of that if needed. All right, so first up we are going to, I'm just gonna show you kind of how I set up my chicken. So you get a rotisserie spit with your air fryer. So if I kind of hold this way, I'm just gonna loosen this a little bit so that you can see it. So you pretty well want to center your chicken on the spit, and then you take these pieces here and you're jamming them into your chicken so that it's holding it nice and tight, and then you just tighten it like this so that it's gonna hold the chicken in place. And whatever I do, I always kind of make sure that the legs here are not further than the spit, because then it'll hit the side of the air fryer and you don't want that to happen. All right, so I'm just gonna give my hands a quick little wash because I was touching that chicken. And then we are going to make the spices that we're gonna marinate the chicken with. So this is our recipe, and I did post it last night, but I'll post it again later on. So what we're going to do is I'm just gonna move the chicken out of the way for right now. Bring my spices over. And I need my basting brush. All right, just 1 second. He's been a a little fussy the last couple of days, so let's see if we can get through this. So 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. So I'm using my adjustable measuring spoon, so it comes as a set of 2. The one on the left here goes up to 1 teaspoon, and the one on this side goes up to 1 tablespoon. So it does call for 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. So I'm just using extra virgin. And I'm mixing the spices and the oil just in a silicone 1 cup prep bowl. Okay, we'll put that aside. Then we need the juice from 1/2 of a small lime, and we're actually going to use the other half in the sauce recipe. So you'll see here I have our flexible cutting mats. I have 2 different ones set up because I knew I was going to have my chicken set on one, and then I have a second one set up to do any of my cutting on. So just the juice from 1/2 of a lime. So squeeze that in there. You could use our juicer as well. We have the handheld juicer as well as the press. There we go. Perfect. And then 2 teaspoons of sugar. So I just use the sugar. It's like organic crystallized cane sugar. So I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of that. You can use just regular sugar as well. So I'm going to take the smaller one and do 2 teaspoons. So 1, 2, and then we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin. We don't use this very often, unless we're really making this recipe. So 1. There we go. And then I'm going to adjust this to be 1/2 teaspoon, and that can actually fit right in. Level it off, just like that, and dump it in. What else do we need? 1 teaspoon of ground paprika. So that same measuring spoon, I'm going to adjust to 1 teaspoon again and get ground paprika. And then a teaspoon of ground oregano. I like these jars because they're nice and big and you can just fit that in. I actually have Pampered Chef's oregano in one of these old Clubhouse bottles just so that it has a little bit of a wider mouth on it. I have 2 bottles, one in this and one in the original one. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. So again, I'm not one that measures salt very well, so I just kind of eye it. But you need a teaspoon of it. And you could easily use our seasoning salt instead of this salt, and I might actually add a little bit. And then a little bit of pepper. And I'm going to put in some garlic and herb, just a dash. And then we have to add 4 garlic cloves pressed. So I have our garlic pressed right here, which is absolutely amazing. It comes with its own little brush that cleans it out. And we're going to add 4 garlic cloves. There we go. This is a brand new garlic, so I'm just breaking into it. Whew. This one might be a workout on the hands. These are big cloves. So because these are quite big cloves, I'm only going to use 2 instead of 4. I don't like my things overly garlicky. So you just push the clove, put the clove in and push down. And these are strong. There we go. So there's 1. Some came up over the side, so I'm just going to do that. And what you're going to see here is I just take the brush and I just kind of swipe it along the bottom and it gets all the extra. And then I take that same size of the side of the brush and just scoop out the peeling like this. And then set that aside. I'll throw it in our compost right away so that the smell doesn't stay in the house. I find the smell quite strong. And then we'll do the second one. That one was easier. Same thing, take the brush, scoop that in. And the peeling came right off on the top, so I'm just gonna put that over there and set this aside because we're also gonna use this in our sauce recipe. Okay. So then I'm just taking a fork and mixing it all together. And it's a thicker mixture because the only liquid is the juice from the lime and the olive oil. So it's gonna create this nice thick rub that we're gonna put on the chicken, and we're gonna use our basting brush to do that. So I'm gonna move my recipe aside and my measuring spoons. And I'm gonna bring my chicken over here that's already on my large flexible cutting mat. Just like that. And I'm just basting this all over the chicken. And then I'm actually gonna cook the chicken right away and then let it sit until supper time, and I'll cut it later on as well. So any rotisserie chicken that's roughly 4 pounds in the air fryer is gonna take about 55 minutes. And I'm gonna show you how that sets up here in a second. If it's still partially frozen, because you didn't take it out of the fridge in time, or it's a little bit, I don't know, tight on time, you wanna cook it earlier in the day, then you're gonna add some time to it. All right, how are we doing? So I'm just gonna flip this over. Is there anyone out there like me? I hate touching raw chicken. Like, I wash my hands so good after this. Even though I'm like basting it on with a brush, like I got close to that chicken there because I was touching the spit. Oh darn, my knot gave out. So I'm gonna retie this, which means I'm gonna touch the chicken again. So just 1 second. Let's try, I might have to just get a new piece because that's gonna be hard to tie. So let's do that. I think what happened is when I flipped it and I started brushing, I brushed the rope off. All right, so you can always trim the twine after. There we go. There. All right, so let's finish this. And the nights that we don't do the Peruvian chicken, all I normally use on my chicken is either the chili lime spice or the smoky applewood spice, and I just shake it on with a little bit of seasoning salt, and that's it. But this is a little bit more interesting, and it gives for a better taste. And then if you pair it with the sauce that we're about to make too, it's even better. So we're gonna go and we're gonna put the chicken into the air fryer. So just bear with me while I move you over to the air fryer. If I could redesign my kitchen, we bought this house already built, obviously. But if I could get a dream kitchen, I would have a island with plugins in it. And then I would be able to easily do this. All right. So there's our air fryer. We are going to turn it on, open it up, take out the tray, And this is the basket that would come with your air fryer as well for fries, chicken fingers, potato wedges, anything like that. And it comes with 2 trays. It also comes with this, which is absolutely amazing because this is what we're going to use to put the chicken in and take the chicken out. All right, so the key for this is that you want to get the left side in first and lock it into place, and then the right side, and that's what's going to allow it to rotate on rotisserie. So you can see here that it is there. You live on an island too, I know, right? So now it's in place. We're going to set it, close the door. We're going to set it to rotisserie. It sets for 45 minutes at 400. I'm going to change my time by pushing the middle and adjusting it up to 55 minutes. And then I'm going to push the middle button again, and it's going to start. You'll see that it automatically is on rotate because the round button is there. If I turn the light on, you'll see my chicken's already started to rotate as well. So it's going to rotate like that for the 55 minutes that it's cooking. So while that cooks, I'm now going to prep my green sauce, so my Peruvian green sauce that you can use to dip your chicken in. It's very delicious. It tastes very fresh, and you're going to see why here in a second. So if you set back up, we're almost done here. So I'm going to take anything that touched the chicken and move it aside so that we're not using that in our sauce. Then you could easily make this sauce that we're about to do in the cooking blender. I am going to use the manual food processor for my sauce. But like I said, you can even do it in the cooking blender. Either or, it turns out the same. The cooking blender is a little bit quicker and a little less work, but this is more convenient for me at the time. All right, let's get some stuff out of the way here. All right, so right on the same page in the cooking guide, you're gonna see the recipe for the Peruvian sauce, and again, I'm gonna post this down below. But you're gonna have a half a bunch of cilantro. So there's where that fresh taste is gonna come from. And you can use the stems and all. So the bunch that I bought yesterday was quite big. So I'm only using about 1/3 of it. And I'm just breaking it a little bit smaller, putting it in to my manual food processor. And then 1 jalapeno seed removed. So in a jalapeno, the seeds are what makes it super spicy. So you want to make sure that you get the seeds out of there so that it's not a spicy taste, but it is a fresh taste. So I'm just going to take this large flexible cooking mat over here. Take my jalapeno. You might make sure if you're cutting it that you don't rub your eyes afterwards. Or your child's eyes, so I gotta wash my hands really well. So I'm just cutting that open. Taking out the seeds. I'm just gonna give it a couple of chops so that it's a little smaller when it goes to blend in the food processor. And you can easily use a scoop loop to take out the seeds. This one's a little bit smaller, so I'm just using a knife. There we go. And we're going to throw that in there, get rid of this. All right, 2 garlic cloves, so we're back to pressing garlic again. We're gonna use 2 cloves. There we go. And the garlic press. Press that right in there. knife. So that was one. There's the second one. And this sauce is great because what I'll do once I mix it is I'm just going to put it into a 2-cup prep bowl, put it in the fridge, and then we'll use it when we're ready to eat. And I think we're going to pair our chicken with some roasted vegetables like peppers and some rice. And what I may do later is when we go to prepare that is I'll come back on live and show you kind of the chicken and the rice and the veggies all together. What else do we need? 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. So I am using a measure-all cup, and this is the one that measures up to 1 cup. That's the mini measure-all. And we need a 1/4 cup. Oh, I got this going the wrong way. That's all right, we'll use it. Flip this. There we are. And then pouring that in there. My dog likes when I do it because I drop things. A tablespoon of white vinegar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So let's do salt and then I'll get the white vinegar. And that was a tablespoon. And you can hear the air fryer in the back because the chicken's cooking. Alright, I'm going to pour this right over in case I pour a little extra. There we go. And then the last thing is a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. Oh, did I miss the lime there? Yes, juice from a 1/2 small lime. So let's put that in. So within this recipe you're using a full lime, so that's great. That's between the chicken and the sauce. And then we're going to do a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. So what makes the measure-all awesome, if you're doing anything like honey or peanut butter or mayo where you don't want to touch and kind of dig in and make a mess of things, you're going to use this measure-all and you push it down to what measurement you need and just wait to see how easy this comes out. Oh my gosh, this is a lot of mayo. Alright, there you go, look at that. Done. Another really good use for this is if you're like stuffing a turkey and you don't want to touch inside the turkey, you put your stuffing in here and then pop it into the turkey. Peanut butter, you're going to see tomorrow when we make our snacks. When I go to use our peanut butter that we made yesterday in the blender, I'll pour it in the measure-all and then pop it into our recipe. Alright, so this is a manual food processor. It's manual, so it does take a little bit of elbow grease, and it's going to take just a few minutes here to get this all going. So it's just working through the cilantro right now. And like I said, you could use the blender. Yeah, the measuring cups are awesome. The measuring spoons, the adjustable measuring spoons. Alright, take a look, see how it's doing. Not bad, but we're going to keep going for a bit. Like I said, you could easily do that in the blender as well. The cilantro will be less choppy-like in the blender, a little bit more smooth than it is here in the manual food processor. But let's take a look here. It kind of looks like a spinach and artichoke dip, I find, when it's done. So there you go. So what we do is we just put that into like a 2-cup prep bowl, and I let it sit in the fridge for a little while. It's gonna thicken a little bit. And then we use this as a dip over like our chicken. So I will cut the chicken on the plate, and you can either like spread it over top of the chicken, put it in a little dipping bowl. It just gives it a little bit of a taste and flavor to a chicken that you wouldn't normally have. And what I think I might do actually is, instead of putting this into a 2-cup prep bowl, this comes with a cover. So, let's see what that cover is. That's funny. So here's the cover. I just grabbed a few things out of that. So it snaps on just like that, and I'm going to put that into the fridge just like that now. And while I was getting the cover, there's a couple of products that I found that I was like, oh, I forgot I had that. This is the herb mill. So you can store your herbs in here and it stays fresher. They stay fresh longer in here. I completely forgot that I had it, therefore it has not been used. So I'm going to keep this out because I have cilantro that I'm going to put in here so that it stays fresh. And then the other product I grabbed is the guest special for the month. So this is the salad dressing measure, mix and pour. So I wanted to show you the size of it because it's pretty sweet. The cover clicks like that. You can have it open or closed. And then on the bottle there are dressing recipes. So there is a simple vinaigrette dressing. It tells you exactly where to put your white wine vinegar, where to put your olive oil, and what to put in there. So black pepper, salt, honey, and Dijon mustard. Then there are measurements along the sides here, and it shows you where the max fill line is. There's a simple creamy dressing, black pepper, salt, Dijon mustard, sugar, white wine vinegar, Greek yogurt, and low-fat buttermilk. So that's all along. And this is the gift that you get for a $100 purchase this month. So that's really awesome. So other than that, I'm just gonna kind of give you guys a shot of what the chicken looks like, so as it's cooking. So, there's our dog. Always stays close when I'm cooking. So if I could turn the light on here, I'll flip you over. You can see that it's rotating. And then if I open the door, it stops, but you could still see it. There it is. And then close it and it automatically starts again. So we still have 43 minutes to go. So that is what we are having for supper. If you have any questions about any of it, please reach out to me. This is day 2 of 3 for our cooking shows. Tomorrow I'm coming at you with snacks. 2 different snack recipes that we use in our household often. And I'll post the recipes tonight in case you want to join me in making those tomorrow. And then we are going to wrap things up on Friday. So if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I would love to help you. A few things to remember. $100 as a guest, you get a free guest special. Over $200 an order is free shipping. Everything direct ships to your household, so make sure you're using your house address and not a P.O. box address as it gets delivered by Purelator. And if you are interested in any of this to do on your own, if you want to host your own show, feel free to reach out because January has some amazing rewards. And the very last thing is 25% off electronics this month. So the air fryer, the blender, the quick cooker, 25% off, which is really amazing. If you are a past host in the last year, you get an extra 10% off on top of that 25. Or for instance, if you are the one that the host booked the party off of, you're gonna get a 40% off item in this party. All right, so I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will take some pictures when we're all done and let you guys see what it looks like. Have a good one.